but there's a fair bit of volatility which is taking hold. I guess a few minutes more and we'll have some sort of a kind of settled markets, settled direction at least. Our market master today is with us. Atul Suri is CEO at Marathon Trends PMS, and he's joining us right here in our studios.
Hey,
Atul, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you with us here.
Awesome.
You know, I think the last we had you in the studio was right around the lows, right? I mean,
yeah,
I think
24,
June.
July.
Yeah. And you were saying risk rewards remain very positive at that point in time. And the market's come back very, very strongly, very, very nicely.
Absolutely.
Your thought process from here?
When I look at the markets, there are two worlds. There's India and the rest of the world. If you look at the India, you cannot not but be bullish. It's an awesome looking market out here. See, last week you were what, 2-3% from lifetime highs?
Yeah.
Bank Nifty touched lifetime highs. And more important than just the broader index, Prashant, it is the breadth, the sectors. So I feel that when I look at Indian markets, I feel we are starting a bull market, right? And as I said, the internals are giving you confidence and they stand out in the long term. But when you flip it to the global side, yes, there are worries. You know, every morning you get up. The interesting part is the world swings between inflation and recession, depending on whom you hear. If you hear the Fed and the Economist, it's all about inflation. And if you hear corporate US, they're all talking about recession. I mean, the FedEx CEO, you had to hear him last week. It was scary. So the fact is that even out there is so much bad news. And that is at some point in time going to put pressure. I mean, we are seeing that today. We saw that even on Friday. So barring if there's no collapse as such in global markets, I think we are in for a fantastic run. I remain very, very bullish in India. I think we will not only just take new highs, we'll stretch it very, very higher. The problem is that if global markets tank really big time due to whatever events, Fed, etc., you know, there's so many moving parts to it. Nobody knows. Then it can get subdued. That's what can burst this move. But otherwise, Indian markets, the breadth, it's just fantastic. In fact, I mean, I think we're in a full-blown bull market, which is not really visible because of so much noise. And that's always positive. When there's so much bad news and still the markets are not going down, that's always good.
Absolutely. By the way, the sector of the moment is defense. Once again, and just look at Hindustan Aeronautics, HAL. It's just remarkable the way that stock has been piling on gains. Once again, higher by about 1.6%. Atul, good morning.
Morning.
Have you tracked this space? I mean, it's not big, but you know, in terms of you only have 4 or 5 stocks. But if you have made a portfolio of these stocks,
it's an overweight in my portfolio. That is exactly the point. The internals. You know, you find capital goods, infra, bearings, defense. You know, a lot of these sectors have not done well for a decade. And autos, I mean, Sonia, it's one of your favorites. You know, these are sectors which move. When they move, it's not just a 1 week, 1 month. They talk about a cycle that's changing. And I really feel that if I look at the markets, I get a feeling that the industrial cycle is turning. And this is something we know which we last saw in 2003, 2004. And we know what happened. I'm fully aware of what's there in the global scene. I'm fully aware of global macros. That is why I really can't go out and give you a very, very stretched target. But there are a lot of pockets of strength. The interesting part is look at the way the mid-cap is performing. You know, the mid-cap versus small-cap. The interesting part is the mid-cap actually has been the largest outperformer in this space, which really tells you it's about quality, it's about the migration of a lot of these stocks from mid to large cap, which is really happening. Small cap very often is froth. It's retail. It is sentiment. And that is really flat. So I think the arrows are all pointing up. Yes, global pain is there, global concern is there, but
Fingers crossed. Fingers, toes, everything crossed.
Because there are so many moving parts, you know. There are so many moving parts.
Your enthusiasm, I must say, is infectious. Because if charged dollar was up this morning, thanks for being here in the studio. So you're saying India is in a full-blown bull market right now. We just don't notice it because of the challenges.
Absolutely.
Who do you think the leaders will be? I mean, we've seen banks perform. But do you think it's become a bit of a crowded trade? Will the leadership change?
No, in fact, banks have underperformed for 2 years. Banks have underperformed for 2 years, and that's thanks to FI. Selling and all, you can rationalize it further. But if you look at the market, from the bottom, we are up 14-15%. Bank Nifty is up, a lot more than that. Look at something like PSU banking. It's up 30-35%. But if you look at the bigger picture on a 10-year basis, what have PSU banks done? If you take out SBI from the equation, everything else is a pretty disastrous place out there. So barring your Kotak's and HDFC banks, there's a lot more action happening somewhere else. And that's what I came to the point that what we are seeing in terms of breadth and participation is something we haven't seen. It doesn't point to a market that's defensively poised. It's to a market that is poised for growth. And that is really what makes me bullish. As I said, I get a feeling that, almost like 2003-04, the sectors, the themes that are moving are very much what precedes a larger industrial cycle upturn. And again, the caveat being that, if the globe doesn't crap out, if something really goes bad out there, yes, we can't hold it. We can't be so de-linked from it.
But what makes you so bullish, Atul? Because, now there are talks of a 100 basis points rate hike by the Fed. That was unimaginable about 6 months ago, right?
But the market knows it. Tell me something that the market doesn't know. Tell me any good news. There's no good news. Every day you wake up, there's bad news. And as I said, the funny part is whom you hear. If you hear the economists and the Fed, it's all about inflation. And if you hear corporate America, or if you hear the chiefs, it's all about recession. I mean, we can't make up our mind depending on which side of the bed you woke up on, whom you read first thing in the morning. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there's so much bad news. The market knows it. If there's nothing incremental and the markets don't tag or make... See, the June lows are very important. I mean, let's put it in terms of numbers. The June lows are very important for global markets. The S&P is about 5-6% from there. So is the NASDAQ 7% from there. We have a Fed meeting coming up next 2-3 days. Yes, it's likely to be harsh. It's hard. It's supposed to be bad news. Let's see how markets... If markets don't take out those lows, I think that is going to be very positive.
Okay, by the way, the market's taken out the Friday low and how? Just look at the Nifty right now. It's tanking. And I mean, my worry is not just the Nifty. Look at the broader market. On Friday, there was first sign of massive decline in the broader market. The advanced decline was actually down quite a bit. I mean, almost at one point was 1:6 or 1:7. I think that line is very important. It's now beginning to look like, perhaps some kind of clean out which is happening. The broader market, we've seen big rally. But it looks like some part of that clean out is on right now. Sorry, Atul. Since a massive rally in the broader market,
sure.
Are there bubble territories? Can you spot any?
Where is the bubble? How many people are calling you? Where is the kind of the retail euphoria? Where are people buying penny stocks? Where are people seeing upside circuits? No. Whatever is moving, there'll be some. Like if you're
glad Russell is there, Suzlon is there.
No, that's okay. They'll always be there. There are some people out there who have to find their daily wages. But really, you will not find that kind of broadness that there is. That kind of retail. That's what I made the difference between small cap to mid cap. So, as I said, the news is bad. And I'm not talking about today, tomorrow. I'm talking about a few months down the line. This is, as I always keep saying, this is a great buy on dips market. It's a good buy on dips market. You will have pain points. The pain will come globally. If globally things don't tank out. And what is going to really happen in the globe, as I said, no one knows. We are swinging from inflation to recession day in, day out. Yeah. So nobody really knows that equation, that puzzle. But what I know, what I see is specific to India. What I invest is in India. What sectors I look at is in India. If those things don't really crap out, if there's no disaster out there, at the end of the day, you have to remember that the last top was 10, 11 months ago. We are not in a runaway bull market. There is no bubble, there's no froth. Markets are corrected 15, 20% lower globally. So we're not in a runaway bull market. And that's when things implode. In fact, we have been through a lot of pain. It's been a one-year time correction also.
Just to take off from what Anuj said, usually when we say retail euphoria, we look for signs in mid and small caps, right? Yep. That's the last 15, 16 years. But this is arguably also a completely new phase because of the retail participation, right?
Sure.
Much more informed kind of decisions by retail.
Right.
There's a huge amount of money which is coming and that has gone into the market.
Sure.
Maybe it's gone into mid caps, maybe it's gone into good quality companies as well. But that by itself does not mean that, that mid and small caps and quality companies can't fall because they've gone up too much. I mean, that's
See, and the fact is, how is a retail investor invested? Is it going to be through mutual funds, etc., then it's a different time horizon. It's a different thought process. The question is, it's as I said, it's my friends and family, how the phone is ringing, kya lene ka, everyone, when it's ringing. And the best part is they tell you a stock and it goes up 10%. And you told them don't buy it, it's risky. And you feel like a fool. So, you know, that kind of situation is not there. You know, all the guys who are retail, their portfolio is still off 20, 30, 40%, let me tell you. Though the market's touched a new high, those portfolios are still off 20, 30, 40. For that euphoria to come in, for that kind of weak hands to come in, today the market is being driven higher by stronger hands. And those stronger hands are not into the banking related, the kind of stocks, the Bharat Dynamics or the HALs that you mentioned.
Just one thing, you said that unless the global market completely at the bottom falls out. But the fact is, as you also said, the S&P is already down 18-19% for the year.
Absolutely.
The market here is higher in, in rupee terms.
Right.
Is there a catch-up which is necessary, or you think it's possible that, you know, we go through the next year and a half like this, huge, with a 20 percentage point difference in terms of returns, and then US does its thing and comes back, and then, you know, there's a global upcycle.
Yeah, so I really feel that, you know, for a decade, thanks to the liquidity flows, we see unanimous bull markets globally. It goes, if it goes into equities, everything goes up. Dogs and cats, in fact, outperform. But as liquidity is getting tight, we all know that things are going to be more qualitative. It's like, you know, when you have limited money, you have to choose a stock. Now, money is limited. You'll have to choose the country. So markets are going to be a lot more country-specific, sector-specific, stock-specific. It is not going to be what we experienced in the decade. As I like to tell myself, that the decade of ETFs outperformance is over. We are going to be back to active managers, because active management is about selection.
The globe has also shrunk, right? In
Absolutely,
terms of investable
because what happened was there was so much money. You never had that kind of time to go out and differentiate. You went and put it into baskets. And those baskets are good represented by ETFs. When you're not going to have that kind of gush of liquidity, you are going to be selected. Money is there, investors are there, but they're going to be a lot more selective. And that is how India stands out. What I like about it is that if you look at from the June lows, India is the best performing market on the pull-up.
It is, yeah.
So that really tells me
even
that
year to date, year to date India has done well.
Even sectors in India, you'll find what IT and pharma is doing. They've done nothing. So markets are selective.
By the way, the market is under quite a bit of pressure, especially the mid-caps right now. So just keep an eye out on that. But now in the last 5 minutes or so, it's very volatile. It's getting very volatile. Just look at the mid-cap index. It's now sort of, there's a V-shaped recovery that you've seen just in the last 5-6 minutes. I wanted your thoughts on autos. I remember the last time we chatted, you said autos will see a big bull run.
Absolutely.
And they have. But what stage of the upcycle are we in right now? Is it too late for people to enter? Is there still a lot
Not at all. I have, you know, like again, having seen many cycles, Sonia, these are very, very secular themes. Autos and all, when they're not 3-month rallies. These tend to be multi-year rallies. And, you know, again, auto, what you're seeing are those names, those brands. Go beyond and look at auto ancillaries. Go and look at some of the EV players. There's a lot of action happening there. And what I'm telling you is that these are coming out of a decade of underperformance. You know, these are not some things which are bubbles or people own them. Everyone is kind of underweight. Everyone is skeptical. You know, PSUs, again, another space, done so well. But whomever you speak to is skeptical. So the fact is that we are coming out of a very big global kind of underperformance in these spaces. And that's where the opportunities. If they don't go down even on bad news, I think that is the big positive.
One last question, very short one. One of the stocks which we are going to talk about now, Indian hotels. In fact, this whole unlock trade has done superbly well.
Absolutely.
And again, coming out of multi-year bear market.
Absolutely.
Views here?
See, I won't speak on stock specific. We'll speak on the sector per se. You'll find that Indian hotels, yes, again, marquee name up there. But you'll find a lot of other hotel stocks also. They are doing very well. So these are themes. These are places. You know, like we spoke about defense. Whoever spoke of defense as a theme for the last 20 years, tell me? Nobody. Hotels as a theme. I mean, we knew there's a theme, but whoever invested in hotels, PSU banks is a theme. So there are a lot of themes that are emerging after almost a decade. And that is what tells you about breadth, what tells you about revival. And that's what makes me so bullish on the market.
Talking about hotels, where's your next holiday, Atul?
Just got back, planning 2 more this year.
Okay, now we know why Indian hotels
I'm going to Boracay for Christmas, New Year. That's somewhere in the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
Do some bit of diving also.
That's lovely. All the best with that. Well, now you know why these hotel stocks are doing so well, right? Okay, well, that's Atul Suri. That's actually the second big voice in the last 48 hours telling us that India is in a big bull market. You heard Rhythm Desai of Morgan Stanley as well. So a lot of bullish